street theater up here.
Yeah, it's a perfect setting. Yeah.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Becca, and we're here tonight as a fundraiser for Jafra Foundation, which is an organization that helps people, Syrians, Palestinian Syrians specifically, who are in Syria. And the organization started before the war in Syria as a community development and youth center. But shortly after the war started, they realized they had to start meeting people's material needs, which was to provide food and shelter and safety for people who were stuck inside of suburbs in Damascus. And they've been doing that work for about 5 years now. And I met people from Jafra Foundation when I was in Lebanon this summer. I was there visiting a friend, and most of the people that I met there had been forced to leave their homes in Yarmouk camp, which was a Palestinian, they call it a camp, but really it was a suburb of Damascus with 100,000 people living in it. And now there's about 8,000 people who are still stuck in that city. And Jafra Foundation works to help people in Yarmouk, but also in 5 other parts of Syria, making sure that the children have activities, arts activities, school, dance, music, as well as providing the necessary food, medicine. A lot of these things people are not able to get in Syria because the areas are blocked off by the many different forces that are fighting in Syria. And the situation's only getting worse now with the international bombing campaign that's intensified in Syria. And so it's a crucial time that people here in the United States can figure out ways to support people in Syria, but also the many, many, many Syrians who are now living all over the world. And so I think tonight us coming together and trying to raise funds is just one way that we can do that. But there's many, many ways that we can continue to do that through education and coming together as a community here. One thing that sticks out to me so much about Jafra organization and inspires me is that it's young people like me who saw a need in their community and are finding ways to meet that need. And they're looking out for the community as a whole. And so Jafra Foundation, the money that I know is going to the people on the ground, it's not going through the bureaucracies of a lot of the international organizations who have to cover the fees of the different organizations, and the money eventually trickles down, but you don't know how much is trickling down. Jafra Foundation, you know the money is going directly to the people on the ground. And so we have someone very special here who's helping us out with our fundraiser, and I'd like to introduce Michel Moushabeck, a writer, editor, publisher, musician of Palestinian descent. He is the founder of Interlink Publishing, a 29-year-old Massachusetts-based independent publishing house specializing in fiction, in translation, history, cultural guides, and international cookbooks. And let's welcome him to the stage to talk a little bit more about his work. Thank you.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here with you today. And first, I would like to thank Becca, Gina, and Bert for their amazing work on behalf of Jafra Foundation. I am the publisher of an independent publishing house, as Becca mentioned, called Interlink Publishing. And we are based in Northampton, Massachusetts. We are a medium-sized publishing house, and we specialize in 4 different areas. But primarily, we do books that change the way people think about the world. We do a lot of literature in translation, leading novelists from around the world, especially from the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. We do a lot of current affairs titles that encourage critical thinking and informed debate. And we also do some really fabulous cookbooks. And this is what brings me here today to talk about a cookbook, a humanitarian cookbook that we put together called Soup for Syria, Recipes to Celebrate Our Shared Humanity. And I'm here to tell you the story of how this cookbook came about, whose proceeds go to help Syrian refugees. I am deeply affected by the tragedy of the Syrian refugees. There are more than 4.2 million refugees now living in destitute conditions in camps in Lebanon, in Jordan, in Iraq, in Turkey. And there are nearly 800,000 who have been accepted into Germany. Now, refugees want to go back home. They're not economic immigrants. They don't want to live in Europe or the United States or anywhere else for that matter. They want to go home. However, they fled their country because they were seeking safety for their families, for their children. And they have paid a very, very heavy price, risking their lives on the seas in order to get to safe places. The project I'm about to tell you about started nearly a little over a year ago. I was in London at the time, and I was having dinner with one of my author friends who lives in Lebanon. And at the time we were talking about the plight of the Syrian refugees. And she was telling me how she lived in Lebanon in the Bekaa Valley, near one of the refugee camps. And she said to me one day, she was feeling really cold at night, even though she had her stove going, and she had a blanket on top of her, and all of a sudden, she started thinking about the poor people living in tents in the refugee camp. The children, how are they managing? How are they bearing this cold and icy conditions? The next day, she couldn't sleep that night. The next day, she said, I want to go to the camp and see for myself what the conditions for those refugees are. So she goes there, and after a while, she started going to the refugee camps almost every weekend. She would fill up the trunk of her car with ingredients for soups, and she would go up and drive to the camp, and she would cook with the men and women of the camps and would make soups. And after a while, she was feeding almost nearly 50 families in that refugee camp, almost every weekend. So when we were talking and she was telling me all the stories, she said to me, you know, I had this idea. What do you think about it? She said, I would like to put together a soup cookbook, gathering soup recipes from friends and family and neighbors. And maybe I can sell this book and make some money so I can continue my weekend trips to the refugee camp. Now, I'm a publisher, and my brain immediately went into fast forward. And I thought, you know, this is a brilliant idea from somebody with a big heart. But more is needed to be done. So I proposed a different approach. And I said to her, I said, instead of gathering recipes from friends and neighbors, I said, why don't we contact celebrity chefs all over the world, well-known food writers, and ask each one of them to contribute a soup recipe to our humanitarian cookbook project. And this way, maybe we stand a better chance of turning this project from a one-person initiative, from Barbara's idea, into an international movement to help with food relief and ease the suffering of the Syrian refugees. So in a nutshell, that's how this cookbook project came about. That was a year ago. I went back to the office, everybody was mobilized, everybody was excited about the project and were willing to put in the time and the effort that it took to pull it off very quickly, because there was a desperate need for food relief, and it was getting more and more desperate with every passing day. So we took turns. Our cookbook editor, my daughter, Moushabeck, she started contacting famous cookbook authors. You see, we're a cookbook publisher, and we have a lot of connections in the culinary world. So we contacted a lot of authors. The author herself, Barbara Abden Massaad, who's done several books for us in the past, also had a lot of connections. She is an influential member in the international slow food movement, so she started contacting people like Alice Waters and Paula Wolfert and others. We contacted Yotam Ottolenghi, Anthony Bourdain, Sally Butcher, Anna Soltun from this famous restaurant Oliana in Boston. And everybody came through for us. Every one of those cookbook writers, those famous celebrity chefs, came through for us and sent us a soup recipe. Barbara is also an amazing photographer. So on her trips to the camps, she took some wonderful photography of the refugees. People she met, families she interacted with, cooked with, and became part of her extended family. So between the photography from the refugee camps and the food photography for the amazing recipes, we put together this beautifully illustrated cookbook called Soup for Syria, and I would like to show you what it looks like. This is the book, and right now we are donating 100% of the profits from the sales of this book to several organizations. We've donated a lot of funds to the UNHCR, this is the United Nations Refugee Agency. Before we did that, we got a guarantee in writing from them that 100% of what we donate will go directly for food relief and not administrative costs. When we got this letter in writing, we decided to give them some of the proceeds. We donated to SAMS, Syrian American Medical Society, that does great work in Syria and in the Syrian refugee camps, especially as it relates to medical relief. And now, of course, many organizations, such as Jafra, have used this cookbook as a fundraising tool. So a portion of the proceeds will go to those organizations as well. Soon after we published the book, we put together a website. The website address is www.soupforsyria.com. That's soupforsyria.com. The website gives a lot of additional information about the projects. In addition, there is a page that's called Get Involved, and it tells interested people, gives suggestions as to how individuals can help. It gives perhaps a dozen or 2 dozen different suggestions. And we've seen over the past year, and we've really been heartened by the support that we've gotten all over the world. So many people have put together soup parties in their homes, for friends, for co-workers, in their churches, in their mosques, in their synagogues, in their schools, in their communities. And it's been wonderful. And they've been sending us photographs of these events. In the events, they make soups out of the Soup for Syria cookbook, and they sell copies of the humanitarian cookbook. We've also approached publishers, international publishers all over the world, to do the same cookbook in different languages in their own markets, in their own countries. So we have already an Italian edition, a Dutch edition, an edition in the United Kingdom, and we're also right now negotiating with publishers in France, in Germany, and in Norway to come out with new language editions. The book has spurred a movement that is continuing, and I urge each and every one of you today to please share the website soupforsyria.com with your friends, with your co-workers, and urge them to share it on social media and help us get more food relief to the Syrian refugees. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks a lot.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Yeah. That's not.
There's bread, there's cheese. All right, get more bread out. You want some whole grain bread?
I like that it's thickened up. It's really good.
Yeah.
I like a thick soup.
Well, you know, the barley, potatoes, and lentils will thicken up.
I like it. I like a thicker soup. It's good.
Good. Fills you up. Sticks to your lips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Well, there's plenty where it comes from. Oh, you got the last one. I'm going to go wash dishes, I think. How's that?
Box at home, but it's actually in my car.
Yeah, this beautiful book.
Okay. And I'd like to use it like
Okay.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
I made it.
Okay, I love it. That sounds great.
Okay, well, I'll serve you up.
I'm gonna take this away so it doesn't.
I want some lashes, yeah.
I know, but let's.
Are you, how much do you want? 2 scoops? 3 scoops?
Oh, that's not
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there's bread and butter.
Oh, I would love
Do you
some
want some?
bread and butter.
There's also whole bread.
اسمه، نسيت الأحرف والمعاني، نسيت الكلمات التي أنطق منها الأغاني، نسيت اسمه، نسيت الأحرف والمعاني، نسيت الكلمات التي أنطق منها الأغاني، نسيت صوتي صورتي حتى مكاني، نسيت شق الطريق إلى السماء، إلى الإنسان، إلى المجد الذي كان، نسيت 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 صوتي صورتي حتى مكاني، نسيت شق الطريق إلى السماء، إلى الإنسان، إلى المجد الذي كان، فلسطيني 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 فلسطيني، نسيت اسمي، نسيت الأحرف والمعاني، نسيت الكلمات التي أنطق منها الأغاني، نسيت اسمي، نسيت الأحرف والمعاني، نسيت الكلمات التي أنطق منها الأغاني، نسيت صوتي صورتي حتى مكاني، نسيت شق الطريق إلى السماء، إلى الإنسان، إلى المجد الذي كان، فلسطيني فلسطيني فلسطيني، وهنا توقف الزمن عند ربطة خبز، عند كرتونة ماء، يا مجدي فلسطيني، يا أمي فلسطيني، 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 نسيت اسمي، نسيت الأحرف والمعاني، نسيت الكلمات التي أنطق منها الأغاني، نسيت اسمي، نسيت الأحرف والمعاني، نسيت الكلمات التي أنطق منها الأغاني، نسيت صوتي صورتي حتى مكاني، نسيت شق الطريق إلى السماء، إلى الإنسان، للمجد الذي كان. مخيم يا مخيم يا مخيم يا مخيم لا تبكي دموع ضحى بصوتك أنا موجوع رغم العتمة وقهر الجوع انت رايت عودتنا يا مخيم لا تبكي دموع ضحى بصوتك أنا موجوع رغم العتمة وقهر الجوع انت رايت عودتنا طفلي نادي يصرخ موت يا أمي حن التابوت دمنا بيشرب ببيروت عدنا حكاية نكبتنا عدنا حكاية نكبتنا رغيف الخبز بأحلامي يا خيتي جرب تنامي رغيف الخبز بأحلامي يا خيتي جرب تنامي باقي شقف من حرامي باقي شقف من حرامي تنغطي في اخواتي تنغطي في اخواتي يا مخيم لا تبكي دموع صوتك انا موجوع رغم العتمة وقهر الجوع انت رايت عودتنا
شيء لا يتوقع انه يصير مخيم هيك مستحيل مستحيل
يا أمي لا تشيل هموم يوم بيجي ودع يوم يا أمي لا تشيل هموم يوم بيجي ودع يوم والله من أهله محروم عم يستنى رجعتنا والله من أهله محروم عم
نحن سجلنا مشان نتعلم ونحفظ العلوم، والأستاذ نحن بنحب الأستاذ لأنه عم يعلمنا عن الطبابة مشان نكبر ونصح.
رجعنا لبداية الأزمة بمخيم اليرموك أو المشاكل بنهاية 2012. معظم أهالي مخيم اليرموك الفلسطينيين والسوريين هاجروا للخارج. طبعا سمعنا نداءات بإيقاف كل الأعمال واطلعوا برية مخيم اليرموك وإلى آخره. بقيت فئة قليلة أو نسبة قليلة، يعني ما بتجاوز 30-40 ألف شخص موجود بالمخيم، وتعطل كل شيء، يعني الحياة بجميع أنواعها تعطلت سواء من التعليم من الصحة إلى آخره.
مين يجاوب؟ يلا يلا ماذا حقيقة؟ إن بالأول أم متوسطا بالأخير؟ بالأول.
الأهالي والمعلمين المتطوعين والموظفين سابقا قرروا انه يستأنفوا عملية التعليم. اضطرينا نفتح مدارس ونقيم عليها، ندرس الطلاب بشيء خاص فينا، يعني نكمل المناهج ونحن الموجودين مسؤولين عن نجاح ورسوب الطلاب بخصنا نحن فقط.
بالأول.
لماذا بالأول؟
لأن في واحد وراه ما في حدا.
اعترف فينا 1400 طالب صاروا يطلبوا انه بدنا تأكيد انه يكونوا الطلاب بالفعل بمخيم اليرموك. صورنا مقاطع فيديو، ورجعناهن التواريخ، رفعنا لافتات لحتى امنوا بهالشيء، بس رغم هالشيء كلياته تضل في مشاكل عم بتواجهنا سواء للطالب وسواء للمعلم. يعني الطالب الشغله الوحيده اللي اخذها من كل المسؤولين هي الاعتراف بنجاحه ورسوبه فقط. ورقم واحد واهم نقطة هي مشكلة الكتب المدرسية. لهالدرجة لهالوقت نحن ما في كتب مدرسية عندنا. 1400 1500 طالب هلا الاعداد صارت ما في كتب مدرسية. الاستاذ مضطر يكتب الدرس على السبورة بعدين يبدأ بالشرح، والطالب بدل ما يتبع من وراء الاستاذ على الكتاب صار ينقل الدرس على الدفتر بعدين يتبع وياخذ وظيفته والاسئله. فمشكلة الكتب اول مشكلة بالنسبة للطلاب. طبعا الاقلام، الحقيبه المدرسيه، اللباس لا يوجد لباس. بنقول للطالب نقي بنطلون جينز غامق، كحلي، اسود، قميص، جاكيت. فهي عندنا مشكله الكهرباء. طبعا نسيناها الكهرباء 3 سنين لا يوجد كهرباء في مخيم اليرموك، نسيناها.
وخلينا نتعلم نظافه ونعرف نكتب. نحن الاستاذ بنحبه كثير.
بهالمرحله هون اضطرينا قسم كبير من الموجودين بمخيم اليرموك ايضا ينزح الى مناطق يلدا، ببيله، بيت سحم. نفس المشاكل انه نضيف عليها مشاكل اضافيه. مشكله المياه الغير صالحه للشرب.
بلدي يحكي لما بيضحك لما بيبكي، لما الطفل ببلدي يحكي لما بيضحك لما بيبكي، يعني رسالة عنده بده توصل هيك الطفل بيشكي، رسالة عنده بده توصل هيك الطفل بيشكي. يا هالعالم أنا من حقي اسمع هالعالم كلماتي، الروزانة الأطفال بيحكونا بالعنف يسكتوا لسانينا رح بيغنوا عيونينا. الروزانة الأطفال بيحكونا بالعنف يسكتوا لسانينا رح بيغنوا عيونينا. يا العالم أنا
يا ليالي الوصل مع ربعي وهل يعودي، يا ليالي الوصل مع ربعي وهل يعودي. أنا والله من الغرب دايب عودي، أنا لضلي للوطن، أنا لضلي للوطن أنشد على عودي. لو ضاع عمري وصفي جثة تحت التراب، شد زنودك يا يرموك، لف شماخ سلوك سلوك وارمي الحمل عنا، لم جراحك علي الصوت كرمالك نحنا بنموت وانت اللي عزوتنا.
شد زنودك يا يرموك، لف شماخ سلوك سلوك وارمي الحمل عنا، لم جراحك علي الصوت كرمالك نحنا بنموت وانت اللي عزوتنا.
نحنا جينا صغار كبار، دار تغني تبوس دار، نحنا جينا صغار كبار، دار تغني تبوس دار، وجبين مكلل بالغار، وجبين مكلل بالغار، والله واشتقنا.
شد زنودك يا يرموك، لف شماخ سلوك سلوك وارمي الحمل عنا، لم جراحك علي الصوت كرمالك نحنا بنموت وانت اللي عزوتنا.
شد
زنودك يا يرموك، لف شماخ سلوك سلوك وارمي الحمل عنا، لم جراحك علي الصوت كرمالك نحنا بنموت وانت اللي عزوتنا.
انت اخوي واني اخوك، هذه امي وهذا ابوك، انت اخوي واني اخوك، هذه امي وهذا ابوك، والناس اللي كانوا يحبوك فوق ترابك يا يرموك يا محلى لمتنا.
شد زنودك يا يرموك، لف شماخ سلوك سلوك وارمي الحمل عنا، لم جراحك علي الصوت كرمالك نحنا بنموت وانت اللي عزوتنا.
رح نرجع نبني ونعمر، بدنا نربي بدنا نكبر، رح نرجع نبني ونعمر، بدنا نربي بدنا نكبر، هون ضحكنا وهون مشينا بترابك ريحة أهالينا، هون ضحكنا وهون مشينا بترابك ريحة أهالينا، وما نسينا والله ما نسينا أرضك يا ديرتنا، أرضك يا ديرتنا، أرضك يا ديرتنا. يا ليالي الوصل مع ربعي وهل يعودي.
ودعتك يا مصاب رحيل، يا منتشر قلبي من قلبي بدعيلة، ودعتك يا مصاب رحيل، يا قلبي بدعيلة، وجاء استشهاد محمد بن
بتحكي عن معاناة الشعوب، الفقر، الحروب، المآسي، المصائب اللي عم تصير بالعالم كله. طبعا الحمد لله صار بمخيم اليرموك شمل كل شيء، مآسي، كل شيء مشاكل، كل شيء صعوبات صارت بالحياة صارت بمخيم اليرموك. فالطفل صار عندنا مثال، يعني كيف بدي أحكيها، صار خميرة، يعني خميرة عنده كل شيء، يعني الخوف، الجوع، القتل، القصف، الحروب. فصار احنا في حال انه هذا الطفل لازم ما نخليه بمكان واحد، لازم نشيله من هذا المكان، هذا الخوف والمشاكل والمصائب اللي عنده. فكرنا انه نسرحها، ما نخليها انه هي مجرد حالات ممكن تعكس على نفسيته. حاولنا انه يبدع بخوفه، يبدع بجوعه، يبدع بكل المصائب اللي اجت، يحولها يزت على المسرح مشان يخرج منها بحالته الطبيعيه او حالته العاديه.
التي أنطق من